Hello and welcome to this Jane's Weather Update. It is Friday the 3rd of October. October, yes. We have a cold outbreak that is moving across the southeast. Now this is on its very last legs. We've got cooler winds and are working their way up the east coast. We've just got this leftover cloud and lighter showers that are coming in. But severe weather warning for damaging winds in these parts of Tasmania. So all of that is moving away as the next high pressure system comes in. Here is the next weather system. It's off the coast of WA at the moment. It also has a feed of tropical moisture, so we'll be closely watching those two interact. Otherwise, clear skies. Let's move through as we move through Friday. Now, by the end of the day, the high pressure system is here over northwestern parts of Victoria there. As soon as the high moves out to your east, then you get to see all of this warmth that is coming down in behind it. That also comes to a sharp end as soon as the trough that is there moves through. So if you are in between the high and the trough, you are in the warm part. In behind that, it turns quite cold. And also, that's where the wet weather is. So all of this is going to be moving very slowly eastwards as we move across. So there's Friday. Let's have a look at Saturday. High up to here by the end of the day. Rain bands coming in. Feed of tropical moisture and the system itself in the southwestern corner. All of that heat in the middle. So there's Saturday. Have a look at Sunday. Here is the cool change by the end of the day. So right in through these parts of Victoria here. The rain band, though, moving across the west, right across here and just making into the southeast later on Sunday. So there's Sunday, all of that heat out ahead of it. Moving into Monday, that heat is now confined up into the northern parts of the country, but it is not going anywhere, and there is a pool of very hot air that is in there. That is now going to be stuck with us, and whenever our winds turn northeasterly in the west, northerly in the south here, in the central parts, northwesterly if you're anywhere in the east here, then that heat will come through. So we've kicked it off early in the season. All right, as we move through Monday, here's that band of rain. It peters out as it reaches the southeast, so it runs out of oomph. Moving on through. Okay, so there we now have Tuesday. There's our band of rain, our pool of heat up to the north. Starting to see moisture come in from the northeast as we go through Tuesday next week. And here is the next wet weather system. So let's watch all of this interact together. Let's go through Wednesday. There that is. Here's the remains of the band. Here is the energy coming up from the south. So that's going to interact as we move through Wednesday. Into Thursday, a band of showers and thunderstorms. If you're directly under a storm, it will bring a heavy fall. Here's the remains of the rain band and the system that is crossing the southeast. So there is Thursday and into Friday, the remains of that band moving in through there. But again, I'll point it out. Here is our pool of heat. It is now stuck over the north, and it will stay there, and it will deliver heat whenever we get our winds moving in the right direction. What is that going to add up to? We'll have a look through here. So let me just pop this one on. We are looking at 25 to 50 millimetres through these inland parts here and right down to the coast. So that is a very significant weather system as it comes through. It's going to deliver more than what actually hits the southwest corner there. So that's very slowly moving through day after day, adding up, but most of that is on the weekend in the southwest and then just clipping that system. In the southeast, it peters out as it moves across eastern parts of South Australia and into the northwestern parts of Victoria. We get at the coastlines here and into the ranges in through here. Not in the east, it's a western system, but it doesn't have much oomph. Tasmania, the west, certainly gets it. In the northeast, there's that moisture pouring on in, and then it's forming the showers and storms anywhere east of that trough line, which looks like setting up about there. So overall, how does that look next week? Remember, this starts from Monday, so it doesn't include the wet weather that's over the weekend in the southwest. It has definitely picked up that band of significant rain as it heads through here and then dries out as it moves across. It has it hitting the southeastern parts here, but not inland, and it has it looking drier than average for this time of year, including these parts here, but the moisture pouring into the northeast. So that's next week. That's the Euro's take on that. What is the Bureau's take? They don't have this at all, which is very, very odd. So I would be discounting that because, yes, that rain, we've got on all the models, it is likely to happen. It's got it hitting the western parts of Tasmania. It's got it feeding in from the northeast, and it's got a stronger feature that comes down in through here. But this one here is weird, to be quite frank. Let's now move into week 2. So we're back to the Euro model. It has a drying out of the southeast. Let's check what the Bureau says, and yes, they concur. So in that second week, the 13th to the 19th, which is the 13th to the 20th here, the south is looking like being drier than average. So that's week 2, drier than average in the southeast. Potential for some things to be coming down from the north in through here and potentially hitting that southwest corner. What does this one say? It likes a lot of this in through here. So Very strange that it didn't like this part here, but it does like this one, so that is something to keep an eye on. So I'd say for week 2, definitely dry in the southeast, but the potential for something to be moving through from the north. Let's have a look at our sea surface temperature anomaly. Still got lots of blues out in through there. Still got lots of blues in through here and a little bit of the yellows. We still have lots of warm water around the coast of Australia. So having a look at the Pacific, we've got 3 models that are liking the Australian definition of La Nina. Let me just move my head over here. So here we have that there. We've got a couple of models that like the USA definition of La Nina, which isn't as strong. So their threshold isn't as much, it's up in through here. So we are borderline on that threshold now, so the Americans are liking it. So they have a weak to strong La Nina in the next couple of months, affecting the Pacific Basin as a whole. All of the models are on this side of the neutral line. We've got some of them that are crossing the threshold and others that are not. That will naturally, as it does each year, move away as we move into the new part of the year. Okay, so that's the Pacific. Let's have a look at the Indian Ocean. We had a big dip. The Bureau finally called, yes, we are in a negative Indian Ocean dipole. It came up, it started to go back down again, and we will naturally come out of that as the year goes away. The guidance for next year early on is very split. There's not much to say there just yet. All right, so let's have a bit of a whip around the country. I'll pop myself back over there now. Okay, here we're starting in Brisbane. 29, we're not the heat that picked up in parts of the southeastern parts of Queensland yesterday into the day before. We've got 29 and we've got 26 in through here. So let's just zoom on through and see what we're looking at. We've got no real wet weather. We've just got a bit of cloud that comes in during the day on Saturday and that slightly cooler breeze in the air. We've got that lingering into Sunday and then temperatures warm up again. So we're back into the 30s here. We might get some wet weather at the end of the week. That band of showers and thunderstorms, hit and miss activity from about Thursday onwards. In Sydney, a pretty important game there this weekend. Let's have a look what to expect. We're 24 today, 22 on Saturday, but let's unpack this. 12 to start on Sunday, zooming up to 28. So let's bring this into us here. It stays warm during the night, so if you are out celebrating, you do not need a jacket. It is remaining above 20 degrees, so nothing like what we saw in the early hours of Sunday. That's thanks to northerly winds. They'll pick up during the day on Monday. Have a look at the timing of this. Here is our heat during the day on Monday. Here is our cool change, which is likely to be in the middle of the afternoon, and then the wet weather starts on Monday night. So the long weekend itself is dry. That doesn't reach us until pretty much after dark during the day on Monday with that late cool change. Cool it is. We'll feel that during the day on Tuesday with some wet weather that is lingering. Heading into Melbourne, we have got cloudy skies for the Friday, but then over the weekend, watch the temperatures jump up about 26, then into the high 20s, close to 30 degrees. Let's unpack the timing of that one there. So it is northerly all the way during the day. You will see reports of, yes, wet weather on Sunday. Let me assure you, have a look at the timing of this. When is it? It's after dark. It's well after dark. It's close to midnight. So ignore the wet weather Sunday vibes that you get from other people. It is not until very late in the evening that we start to see that. Now, you'll also get wet weather vibes for Monday, but no, it is in the early hours of the day. So this is an overnight thing that we get that band of rain, and then it's generally dry during the day. But we'll feel the cool air as it comes in. That's about 16 after near 30 on Sunday. So temperatures absolutely dipping. As we move through next week, 20, 23, the next change arrives later on Wednesday. Having a look at Adelaide, there's just that slight remains of very light showers coming through. We've got increasing sunshine as the day goes on. Temperatures jump up for Saturday. They remain warm on Saturday night. The cool change is due in the middle to late of Sunday afternoon. Again, the wet weather not until after dark. It's an evening thing lasting into the early hours of Monday morning. So Adelaide and Melbourne, if you don't look outside while the daylight is up, you won't even know that there is any rain. It is overnight. That leaves us much colder by the time we move into Monday, and it recovers slightly, and there are slight disturbances that come through for the rest of the week. Over in the west, on Saturday, that is when we're seeing our wet weather. So we're looking at 8 to 14 millimetres, 10 is the average across there. We've got 3 millimetres into the early hours of Sunday. So it's Saturday into the early hours of Sunday that we're seeing that. Temperatures next week, some showers moving through just when we have those disturbances that are just knocking on that southwestern corner. Otherwise, there's not too much to worry about. The rain that's very slow moving is more of an inland thing, more of a central thing as it comes through rather than a Perth thing. That's it from me for today. I will see you again next week.